Well, it's a huge honor tonight to welcome a great guest for the HawkCast tonight. We have the People's Champ, John Daly, joining us. John, welcome to the HawkCast. Thanks for coming on.
You got it, AJ.
Well, you're coming to us live from the Lion's Den Golf Club there in Dardanelle, Arkansas. So, did I say it right, Dardanelle?
Yeah, you're about the only first one that's never heard of it. Say it right. That's pretty good.
Well, I cheated. If you probably remember a couple of weeks ago, I went down. I was lucky enough to meet you down at the Masters and go on your bus, and I pronounced it wrong. So I remembered for this time when I got to talk to you. I need to get it right.
You got it right, brother.
Yeah, this is cool because you're one of I think you're the first guest we've had to be outside on location in an awesome spot for this. So I think people will enjoy seeing the nice views you have at that course. You were just kind of giving me a little tour from your phone of the hole you're on, number 3, and man, what a beautiful property. How long have you had that?
I've had it since October of 2006. Members were struggling with it, and they asked me if I'd take it over, and I said sure. So I bought it, and it's just a beautiful piece of property. It's a very small town. There's 4 golf courses around here, so it makes it very tough to get a lot of the members, a lot of members to join.
So is it a country club or is it public?
It's semi-private. We allow green fee players all the time. We allow weddings and parties and stuff that people may want to rent the building or whatever, rent the clubhouse out. So that part does real well.
Is that where you I watched your episode with Faraday. Is that where weren't you hitting that? You hit it out the ball out of his mouth. Was that at your course right there?
Yeah, actually it's on the same tee box. So I'll give the viewers a little
let's check it out.
Little shot. This is our 3rd hole. And right in the distance is Lake Dardanelle. You see the lake over there, and you got Mount Nebo. Very, very real tight par 4. Not very long. The green tucks back to the left there, but it's just absolutely gorgeous here.
That hole does. I mean, it looks amazing, but that does not look fun for someone like me who cannot figure out where the ball. I played like a week ago for the first time this year. And every single time I stood on the tee box, I had no idea where the ball was going to go off the tee.
Hey, I'm professional. I do that every now and then myself. It happens to all of us.
How old are you now?
48.
48. So you're 2 years away. Are you going to try to play on the what do they call it? The Champions Tour now, or what are they calling it?
I'm actually looking forward to playing on the Champions Tour. All
right. The funny thing, tell me if I'm wrong, but I listen to people, especially athletes, say this. Usually retired guys or guys that are really good golfers for an athlete, not compared to you guys. And they're like, well, when I get done, I think I might go dabble around and try to play in that Champions Tour. And I try to tell them that's harder to get on than the PGA Tour, isn't it?
Oh, it's very hard. Luckily, my 2 majors, I think I get a 4-year or 6-year exemption out there. So, a lot of guys have told me I'll be in the Tournament Champions until I quit playing golf, which is the very first tournament of the year for the Champions Tour, and it's a limited field, so that makes it even better to hopefully to get off to a good start.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking about you having problem making. I was talking about do you laugh when because obviously you've played with a ton of I'm sure football, baseball, hockey players. Do you laugh when they try to? Sometimes guys get a little arrogant and try to think that they can compete at your guys' level.
Well, it'd be like us trying to compete sometimes at their level. I mean, Tony Romo can play. Romo and Danny Quinn, who played hockey for a long time, Mario Lemieux. The quarterbacks, the pitchers, kickers, hockey players, they're all really, really good golfers. For some reason, they just either played when they were kids or it was easy for them. But your big lineman playing for the Packers, one of you guys, they're so bulked up it's hard for them to swing. And they can't figure out why they can't make that little white golf ball go somewhere.
The problem about golf is you have to play. You have to practice too much. And I love golf, and I enjoy it, but it's like I don't love golf enough to go to the range and work on my game and go through the whole bag and try to hit every kind of shot. And you have to get sick of that at some point, don't you?
Well, you get burnt out on football, I'm sure, sometimes. It's just... it's just part of life. You do something so long. As me, I've been doing it since '87. There's moments that I don't even want to play. I just want to put the clubs up, get away from it, and do something else for a little while, and just hang out here at the club or go see some concerts, go see some football games or whatever, just to get away from it.
Yeah, you mentioned football. I know you're an Arkansas guy living down there, living right by your own course. Our long snapper Brett Good, Arkansas alumni. He is. I understand your guys' passion because I talk to Brett pretty much every day, and he's always doing the whole woo pig suey whole situation. And I know your guys. I do it no justice. So I'm sorry for all those Arkansas people that are pissed at me right now for not getting into it. But you guys are passionate. I can respect that about your game, about football. And you had a ton of studs come through there, so I think they're only getting better, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean we're in a very tough conference, and with the new coach, Coach Bielema, I mean it's this is only going to be his second year, so he's finding out that the SEC might be a little faster than the Big Ten. I don't mean to make anybody mad, but he even said it. He can't believe how quick all the teams in the SEC are, but we just got to give him some time, like any other coach. He came in. We lost a lot of great players in the Petrino days, and those guys are gone, and now he's got to rebuild it.
It's got to be, yeah. I can't imagine going down there in the South and recruiting, being a new guy, being a Midwestern guy, and trying to go take some of those recruits out of Florida, Georgia, all the southern states where a lot of your skill position guys come from. It's got to be a monster challenge for him. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to take him some time, but
well, our facility is just as nice as an NFL team. I mean, we have a facility in Fayetteville, Arkansas that is like, if you were to see it, you would go, there's no way. Coach Spurrier came in there when I think it's when his first year for South Carolina. He goes, this is unbelievable. This is as nice as a Redskins stadium.
Really?
And the weight rooms, the locker room and all that is just, the kids come in, they go, their mouths just drop because, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, that's a big deal too. That people don't realize that pretty much all big time college programs have better facilities than most of the NFL, because the NFL guys have owners. Everyone but the Packers have owners that are watching their budget. And they're going to make stuff, but they're not trying to build a weight room to impress recruits and impress recruit parents. And that's what you have to do in college. You got to find a way to take these kids and wow them and wow their parents, and show off their players' lounges, all this kind of stuff, smoothie bars, whatever it may be. You got to have all that extra fluff to try to land those guys.
Yeah, and we've got it. But I think 2 or 3 years down the road, we'll be a pretty good football team again.
Yeah, I who knows? They're fun to watch. But segueing from that into a little bit of golf, where's your golf game at? And what's your next tournament looking like?
It looks like I'm getting I got plantar fasciitis in my left foot. I'm getting surgery done May 30th in Reno, Ossetron. I had it done 10 years ago on my right foot, and it worked. But as far as another tournament, I think I'm going to be in Ireland at the end of June. Then I go to Germany. Then I have a week off. Then I play the British Open. No, I play Greenbrier. Then a week off, British Open, Canada, Reno, the PGA Championship, and then Wyndham. So I got a pretty full schedule.
Yeah, and winning the British in you won the British in 95, and then with PGA in 91. Do you get a lifetime exemption for both of those?
Till you're 65. Yeah.
Okay, so you got plenty of time left. Do you honestly? So, like as I introduced you, I was laughing but calling you the people's champ, but it's true. Whether you admit to that or not, people want to watch you play. You're a huge draw. Do you? And I think when you play, people really root for you. I know I do as a guy that's a fan of golf. When I watch and I see you after day one or day two, and you're creeping up the leaderboard and you're up there, everyone's thinking, yeah, this is it. If he can get this tournament, if he can win one, we're going to turn this thing around. And guess what? You're going to bring golf back. People are going to start watching again. Even though they do. People watch golf, but they need some color. They need some flair now. And I know that's kind of been just naturally who you are and what you've brought, but do you still feel like going into tournaments that if you just put a solid 4 days together, then you can win one?
Oh, no doubt. I still play golf because I feel like I can still compete. I've had a lot of injuries the last few years, and that's that keeps you away from practicing. I know what you guys go through when you got a broken arm and stuff. It's hard to do what you got to do. I had elbow surgery last summer. Was out for 3 months. Fixing to have this foot done, but I won't be out, hardly at all. So The thing in any sport, especially golf, you've got to have confidence. And when you're hurt, it's hard to get that confidence and have the ability to practice the way you want to practice. And it's been tough the last few years.
Yeah, that's something that we don't, as just fans watching from the outside, we don't know what you guys go through, the kind of stuff you're fighting through. I think people that don't know golf or don't know any like type of, maybe weren't any kind of athlete growing up or didn't play sports, if they see someone on TV and they see them play and they assume they're 100% healthy. And the thing is, like, we don't know. We have no idea what you guys are dealing with. And you've had all these surgeries. You're hurt. It's true. You're not going to sit there and broadcast it to everybody and tell them, I would have made the cut, but my elbow had a bit of tendonitis and my big toe hurt, Like, you're not going to say that because you're not a loser, So I think we have a lot of respect for it. People see golf as like a country club sport, but I'll tell you what. I played, Whistling Straits up in Kohler.
Oh, yeah.
So I played Whistling last week for my first round of the year, which is a bad idea. Love the course though; it's crazy nice. And I played 18, and I don't walk ever. I take a cart, but there's no carts at Whistling. And I got done with 18, and I'm riding home in the car. Lucky I wasn't driving. And I'm just it kills me, man. I'm tired. I can work out all day long. I can lift. I can play a football game, and I'm energized. I play around the golf, and I'm done. And
I'll never forget what Brett Favre said. He played with me in the Pro-Am in Memphis one year, is when we had the tournament in July. It's 110 degrees. The humidity here in the South is pretty brutal. We're on the 16th hole, and he goes, I'd rather have 350-pound linemen coming after me right now than doing this. He said, I am exhausted. It takes a toll on you. You guys are in a sport where you're running. For us, we're walking, stopping, waiting. And it turns into, about an 8-hour day for us when you do the driving range, you get ready for the first, the rounds that you're playing. You get there an hour before, you hit balls for an hour, and then you go out and it takes usually 5.5, 6 hours to play. If you don't play good, you're on the range trying to beat balls and figure out what you're doing wrong for the next day. Sometimes it turns into 10, 11-hour days.
And you guys get there too. You usually get there on Monday, don't you, for a round starts your competitive round first one on Thursday?
Yeah, a lot of guys like I'll get now, since I get exemptions, I usually have to play Monday Pro-Ams and Wednesday Pro-Ams. But when I was exempt, I would actually get in Tuesday night and then play the Pro-Am. And, we play a lot of the same golf courses over and over throughout the years. You kind of get used to them and you know them. And, so sometimes the Pro-Am's is good enough for me on a Wednesday.
I would think, too, yeah, when you're in the heart of it, sometimes playing 4 and 5 weeks in a row, I can't imagine going to a course on a Monday when you're doing that for a month straight or something. You just back-to-back tournaments, I think you'd be exhausted.
Oh, yeah, I played 2012 and 13, I played over 78 golf tournaments around the world. And, my body it's brutal on it, especially with the injuries and stuff. You're flying. I'd fly overseas for 2 weeks, come back and play 2 in the States, go back overseas, and it takes a toll on your body, especially when you're trying to play hurt. It's just no fun.
Does you talked about playing overseas? Is that where you have been? Has that been a big market for you recently, like in the last 5-7 years?
Yeah, I've still been getting an average of probably 12 to 15 tour events. I've played a few web.coms, and I've played a ton over in Europe and Asia, China, Australia, and stuff like that. I don't mind it too much as long as, if I can get over there and have 2 or 3 weeks to play those tournaments and then maybe come back and have 2 weeks off, but that's okay. But it just never could do it because, 1, trying to get my European card, and then 2, trying to get the U.S. card as well. It's just been tough because I don't have any status really anywhere, which makes it tough to do your schedule.
So if you don't have, I know there's different levels of status and exemptions and all that. What level are you at right now for your status or, for everything?
Well, because of my major wins, I get in a lot of European events. They really love past major champions, and they want to welcome them to their tournaments. Our tour, it's tough because there's so many guys that are, all the tours are so great, but tournament director has a tough decision to make through the boards of each tournament. They may have some kid that's really, really good in college that, let's say in Dallas, well, of course I understand they're going to pick him over me because he's a homeboy. He lives there. and I just have to deal with that. And if I could just play better and get my card back, I won't have to worry about it.
It's a lot easier said than done. It looks like
it's so hard to do it. It really is. The guys are so good all over the world now.
And Q School is different now, right? Do they even have Q School, or do they just have a 2-week tournament? Is that how it is?
They have a if you finish top 200 on the PGA Tour, you're automatically in the 4 tournaments of Q School. If you finish in the top 75 on the web.com, you're automatically in the 4 remaining Tour School. The top 25 on the web.com get their cards, and then the top 50 will get their cards if you play really well and get top 50 in those 4 tournaments to keep your card. Now the toughest thing is you could get your card and not play a tournament until 16, 17 weeks into the season.
How does that work?
It's just numbers. It's all numbers. It's just, where they fall. How many guys, a lot of guys, a lot of the best players in the world play the West Coast tournaments. Your San Diegos, your Hawaiis, Pebble Beach, Phoenix. A lot of the top players play there, and it's very hard when you have your card, especially if you're not top 5 of those top 50 guys that got their cards. You're not going to get in a lot of tournaments in the beginning of the year.
Okay, and so for you to say you want to, obviously you've played in the Memorial, right, back in Dublin multiple times. So that's where I live pretty close to there, and I'm going to be going back there. I go back and watch every year, at least for a day or so. So say you want to play in the Memorial, what do you have to do now?
Well, I think if you're top 125 previous year you're in, Jack has his special exemptions that he gives. If you're top 50 in the world, you're in everything. You're in all the World Golf Championships and majors. Every tournament you want to be in, top 50 in the world, you can play anywhere. So it's kind of like that.
What about you personally? Like, say you personally right now, if you wanted to play in the Memorial this year, what would you try to do?
I'd have to get an exemption.
So what do you do? Just write him a letter?
Write him a letter. And Jack hasn't given me a spot in a few years, but, I've always idolized him. And I think Jack's one of those guys that, look, if you're not playing good, you're not playing my tournament. And I totally respect that. And Arnold's the same way. I haven't been in Bay Hill in 6 years, which is those 2 tournaments are because I love those guys so much and I idolized them growing up. It was just awesome to play in those 2 tournaments. And Bay Hill, where Arnie does his, is more of an IMG type thing. And I understand that. They get the IMG guys in there. Totally understandable. But, it would be great to play those 2 tournaments again just before my career's over or I get on the Champions Tour where, I really won't be able to compete like with those guys when I'm 56, 57, 58 years old. Nobody can do what Tom Watson's doing right now. That guy almost won a major at, 59, 60 years old, the British Open. That's phenomenal.
How does he do that? Because I've always listened to like older guys talk when they kind of realize it's their time. Like, you know what, I can't do it. I can't compete with these guys. And usually it's because they can't hit it far enough. It seems like to me how is Tom Watson doing it?
Tom has been, I can't really speak for him, but I've never seen Tom Watson hurt. I know he has been probably, but his golf swing is so perfect that the way he hits a golf ball, and as many golf balls as that man has hit in his lifetime, he's got a perfect swing that it doesn't look like he could even get hurt. It's just so pure and it's so fluid. And I played with Tom a few times, and it's just fun to watch a guy like that hit a golf ball at his age. I mean, he comes on some plays in some of our tour events out here and makes a cut and almost wins some of them. It's phenomenal.
It's ridiculous how he can do that. You're right. When you said you can watch his swing and see that it's almost like he couldn't get hurt, I instantly thought of your swing and thought there's about 5,000 ways you can get hurt from watching you swing. watching you hit a pitching wedge, it looks like you could get hurt 5,000 different ways with that. I would probably say that in my novice eyes as a golf fan, you have the longest backswing, would you call it? I don't know what you say. You have one of the biggest turns on the PGA Tour right now. You think that's true?
I do, and that's one reason why I haven't been hurt. My swing allows everything to work. So, my backswing, I'm stretching every muscle in my body, especially around my hips, my shoulders and everything when I take it back. But if you go out and try and shorten your swing, you put so much pressure on your back that sooner or later you're going to have back problems like Tiger. My swing's so long, my body's stretched out every time I swing the golf club. That's why I've never really had a lot of back problems.
That makes sense, man. Yeah, people are always trying to shorten my swing too. I've never taken lessons or anything, but people always say I swing too hard and to shorten my backswing. I might, in honor of your advice, I might have to really start taking it back. Now, I can't bend like you. I can't turn like you can, but I'll give it a shot now. I'm inspired. I might go bang some balls tomorrow on the range. Yeah. I don't know.
Take it back as far as you can without losing your balance. That's the key.
Okay. Yeah. What would be your, so you've played tons of pro-ams, corporate outings. What's the amateurs you play with? What's the biggest mistake? Obviously there's probably thousands of them they make, but what's the number one thing that sticks out that you see them making their biggest mistake?
They never hit enough club.
Really?
They think when they hit, if you put an amateur down with 10 golf balls with a 9-iron, he hits one of them so solid and beautiful, he thinks that's the way, or she thinks that's the way she should hit it every time. Yeah, I mean, that's when you need to just, hey, let's just hit an 8-iron, because you're not going to hit it solid 9 out of 10 times. You might hit it solid 1 out of 10 times. And that's what amateurs mistaken themselves. They go on that one pure golf shot that they hit with a club, and they think that's how they should hit it every time. My 8-iron was average. I could hit it 170 with no problem, but that was my 160 club, because I know I'm not going to hit it solid every time. So you can back the guys down 10 yards. You can actually bump them up 10 yards on the tour what they hit a 9-iron or a 5-iron or whatever, but they don't. We just don't want to hit them that hard.
Okay.
So we back them up about 10 yards.
So club up, you're saying always.
Always, yeah.
Okay, it's good to know. I know I've played with a lot of guys in different outings or whatever, and they'll ask me what my handicap is, and I don't have an official handicap. I don't play enough. So, but I'll be like, I don't know, 25. I'll just tell them that, and yeah, I can definitely shoot 25 over. But they'll tell me, I'm a 7, and I was like, all right, okay, yep. And then you watch them off the first 3 tees, watch them top the ball 7 yards, and they'll want to tell me, I'm sure you've heard every excuse in the book, I never play like this. This never happens. This is the worst round of my life. I'm like,
this is only the first time I played in 6 months.
Yeah.
I've heard it all.
Yeah, that's like I was just playing at Whistling with some guys on the team, and I was playing horrendous. Couldn't get off the tee. And I was laughing thinking about these guys that I've played with before. They're making excuses. I was like, trust me, I have no excuse. I don't even know. I feel like I can't even make contact anymore. So I think if people were honest with themselves on the course, they would become a lot better golfers.
Yeah, I mean, that's, golf is all about integrity, etiquette, and knowing the rules. Because, so many times we've had to call rules on ourselves, and golfers are pretty honest about it on this tour. I mean, if a ball moves, I've always been the first one to say, hey, I need a rules official on my ball move. No matter what happens, I always get an official. And you just got to tell the truth what you're doing out there. It sucks, and it really sucks to lose 2 shots, but it happens, and it happens to all of us.
You were mentioning when I saw you down at the Masters, I don't even remember, you mentioned some guys and saying how certain guys try to cheat a little bit, and not get caught with whether, a lot of times they would put their ball mark down and try to cheat an inch or two forward towards the cup.
Yeah.
So that actually happens even on the tour, because that happens every day in the rounds I'm playing. So.
Oh, I've seen it from 2 or 3 players, and I don't ever want to mention their names, but they've been called on it so many times. Other players have called it on them. I believe sooner or later it's going to catch up with. If you're cheating or if you're trying to get an edge, you're going to get caught. And it's just law of averages. That many golf tournaments that they play in, they're going to get caught. So
yeah, law of averages plus having 7,000 cameras on each course too. Now, I mean, Tiger, was that the Masters 2 years ago, a year ago when Tiger, he got called in from a viewer? Was that right?
Yeah, it was last year's Masters. He took a drop that he thought he took the right drop, and apparently he didn't. I mean, it's a touchy situation. Everybody wants to jump on Tiger, this and that, but we've done it so many times. We get, if you hit a ball in a hazard, you've got 5 options in a lateral hazard, 5 options in lateral hazard. I think 4 in a water hazard. So it looked like he didn't do anything wrong. He might have been a foot off or 2 feet off, but the cameras didn't show that. And his angle, Tiger's a pretty honest guy. He doesn't need to cheat. That's why, I got a little upset with the way the media handled it, and all that about him, because Tiger, that's one man that doesn't need to cheat, and he wouldn't.
No, for sure. And I know there's a big debate over, should someone be able to be sitting there on their couch, some 50-year-old bitter guy that he's bitter since he can't be playing golf like these guys and not as good as you guys, and he's a Saturday warrior with his buddies. Should he be allowed to call in and take 2 shots away from Tiger, like that? How do you feel about how invasive, fans and media are now, and how they can, affect the outcome of a tournament?
Well, I think it's great that they can call in. I think it helps the tour. It helps it may help a guy who didn't know he did something wrong. And that's 95% of it right there.
Yeah.
They just didn't know they did something wrong. But I think it's great because, you play this game, you want to shoot the score that you shoot, whatever it is, you want it to be the right score. And I think a lot of people will say that, well, since it's Tiger Woods, they're going to follow him, and maybe it's John Daly, they're not following him as much. He could get away with it. But we have too much integrity out here to really let that bother us if a viewer calls in. I know it wouldn't bother me. It happened to me in 91. A caller called in. My squeaky was holding the flag. I had about a 60, 70-foot putt, and a viewer called in and said he put the flag on the ground behind the hole to help me with my line, which he didn't. He was like 6 feet off when he was just walking around, and luckily I said, well, if there's a penalty, I'm a man, I can handle it. They said no penalty. And you got to respect that the people know the rules of the game to call that in. And it's just part of life. I mean, you guys have instant replay. You review plays all the time. The refs are going to make mistakes. How many football games in the past that didn't have that a lot of teams lost either Super Bowls, AFC championships, NFC championships. There's tons of them. The refs can't make all the calls. They can't make them right all the time. And it's great to have that.
Yeah, it would change the history of the NFL. You're right. If they had replay back in the 60s and 70s, you're right. There would be, who knows what would happen. And I've asked, like a lot of times when there's an instant replay going on during one of our games, I'll be talking to the refs, and I'm like, I'll be standing with a guy in the huddle while the dude's in the under the hood, the other ref, and I'm like, what do you guys think? What's your feel on this one? And they're guessing just like everybody else. They're like, I don't know. I think he scored. Yeah, he scored, and then boom, he didn't. So if they're not the guy reviewing it, I always ask them, like, what do you think about this? And every single ref, what's really cool, I think every ref said, we just want to get it right. We want to make the right call. And they don't care if they're wrong. They don't care if they made the wrong call on the field. If they look at it on the video and they see that they made the wrong call, they're happy to change it. So I think it's a great thing for football, especially. For golf, you've kind of changed my mind on that. I was thinking people were, I don't know, I just felt like people would be annoying if I was playing golf and people were calling in saying I cheated for some reason. But you kind of changed my view on that a bit.
I mean, it's not that, if the guy did it on purpose, then you can say he cheated. But nobody on our tour is going to do that. If they make a mistake, they're going to fess up to it. There's no doubt about it. There's too much integrity on our PGA Tour and all the tours to, it just happens. It sucks, like I said before, to lose 2 shots and maybe lose a golf tournament. But that review, just think of the Miami Dolphins when they went 17-0.
Yeah.
Think of that. If they were to go back and look at some of those games.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
There were some close games that they won when they had a perfect season. That might not have been a perfect season.
You're right. Who knows I don't know what they're going to do 20, 25 years from now. We'll see what what technology does for all sports. But I think the question I definitely want to ask you about is, how are players, because I've even seen it watching golf, for the last 10, 15 years. How are players different now, like young kids coming in, than they were when, say, you came on tour in '87? How different are they? I feel like people are so specialized and have a coach for every aspect. Is that something that was around when you first came in?
No, it was a drinking, having fun, enjoying a great life. Not too many people when I came out on tour were in the weight room. They weren't worried about nutrition. They just wanted to go play golf. And where we got where we got our weight room was beating balls, and now it's just about every player out there just goes to the weight room. They work out. I just can't do it. Every time I do, one, I can't bring my cigarettes in, and every time I did used to work out, I throw up. So all I did was make a gym smell nasty either way, one way or the other, by either puke or smoke. So it just didn't work out for me.
And I think people respect that. They respect that you're authentic, and you're not trying to hide it. Because I've heard you say in interviews in the past that, plenty of guys, a lot of guys smoke out here on the tour, but guys they do the old hide it in their hand trick and walking down the fairway on a par 5 or whatever. I play out in Lake Tahoe in a tournament every year, and I see that happen with there's certain guys that don't want to be seen smoking for whatever reason, like how it'll mess their image or whatever. So I think that's a big reason why people respect you so much, because you don't seem to be hiding anything, are you?
Nah, there's nothing. There's no skeletons in my closet, AJ.
I read your.
I'm not saying it's great to smoke, but there's so much other crap that we could do and stuff like that. Cigarettes are a stress release for me, and I know it ain't healthy, and I know it's bad for you, but if there's one thing I don't think I can quit, it's that.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard the people that were addicted to all kind of stuff, and they said, "Yeah, I got it all. I've stopped." The people that quit heroin, quit drinking, quit everything. They're like, I just couldn't give up these cigarettes. So they're doing something. They put something in there to lock you guys up and to really, I don't know what it is, but they seems to be very, very highly addictive.
And nicotine.
Mm-hmm. So you said it's the one thing you can't quit, haven't you? I'm sure you're sick of talking about it. You've said aren't you like 6 years sober from alcohol?
Well, I've kind of cheated a little bit the last month. I don't know why. I was 6 years.
Okay. Hey, well, I'm sure that's something. Is that something that's always like a constant, like a daily battle with you? And have you ever did you ever go to rehab or anything to try to curb that?
Yeah, I went to 3 rehabs to try and stop. But, I don't know if it's just there's really no excuse why I'm kind of drinking again. I'm not drinking a lot. I'm not, drinking nowhere near like I used to. Yeah, I might have one or two, but I've only, since I saw you, the next night I did Dan Patrick, and then the next night I just was so proud of myself to tell Dan Patrick that I've been sober for 6 years. Next thing you know, I put one of my John Dalys in my hand and drank half of a 200 milliliter. And I go, oh my God, this tastes so good.
And did you stop after half of it, or you got to keep going?
Yeah. I just said that's good. It's not like it's not like I just got to have it. I never was one of those guys that oh my God, if I wake up in the morning, I never had the shakes to have alcohol. My biggest issue was I was a binge drinker. Even when I was drinking a lot, I'd go 2 months and not drink, but then I'd go on a 7-day binge of just drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking.
In the height, what was your drink of choice?
Growing up, it was Jack, and then I drank a lot of Miller Lite in my life. I think in some of my urine tests, I'm still probably have a little Miller Lite from 1984 in me, but I love Crown. I've always loved Crown too.
Yeah, I mean,
I love the John Daly, my new drink.
Give that some pub. What is the name of it? I know I've seen it all over now and seen it on your Twitter too. What is the name?
It's the John Daly Original Cocktail. It's sweet tea lemonade vodka, and we have sweet tea raspberry vodka and sweet tea peach vodka. And just did a big deal with Glacier in Texas and getting in Arkansas. We're in California, Nevada, Georgia, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Illinois, fixing to be in Iowa, Nebraska. We're probably in about 26 states now.
Wow.
And it's going good.
If you're trying to get I'll ask some people. I live in Ohio in the off season. If you're trying to get in Ohio, let me know. I'll see if I know anybody back there to.
We're talking to the guys in Ohio right now.
Good, yeah, man.
Hopefully we'll be in. Well, we've got to get in Wisconsin too.
I know. Well, trust me, people here are not afraid to drink. That's for sure. You've been here
John
before.
Daly in Lambeau Field in the middle of the winter.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean that's. Yeah, and to think then they should have you. We should have you. They'll start selling it in Lambeau Field, and we'll have you just run out of the tunnel holding like 2 big cases of it, running through it, and this place will go. They'll freak out, man. It'll be awesome.
I love it. I call it the drink before the first tee. so we could call it the drink before the first down.
There you go. That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's great. So when I saw you down at the Masters, I know I've referenced this multiple times. It was a weird situation. I want to apologize as well, too, just if it got awkward. So this still happened. I went down to the Masters to see a practice round. I'd never been there. My buddies, some guys I know asked me if I wanted to go, whatever. They had tickets. We went down, and it was just torrential downpour. The course was closed on Monday, the day we were supposed to go. So they're like, hey, John, let's go see. John's got his bus parked outside of Hooters. Let's go over there. I'm like, well, obviously I'm a monster fan of John Daly, but this is going to be weird. We don't want to go knock on his door and ask to see him. And we didn't know. And of course my buddies that I was with, when they're like, hey, AJ, go over there. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. No way. I'm not going over and trying to act like this dude knows me. And so I stood over in the corner like a weirdo, and they were all of a sudden they started waving me over, and my buddies were super pushy and talked to your girlfriend, Anna. You guys aren't married, are you?
No.
He talks to her, and she's the nicest girl ever, and was just amazing, really accommodating. And we're all standing on your bus, 7 of us, and you're just telling us stories from the tour and everything. So I want to apologize for making it a weird situation, but also thank you very much, because that really made our whole trip. That's for sure.
Oh, it was great, man. It's great meeting you.
Hey, I'm a monster fan of yours, and I think so. Your girlfriend Anna was there with you. How long have you guys been together?
About 6 years, just over 6 years.
You gonna get married again?
In 2029, I proposed to her. I'll be 63. It's a perfect time. Good
for you. Yeah, man. I know you've been married a few times and all that. I'm not gonna. You don't even have to. I'm sure you're sick of talking about it. You've referenced some of them in your book. What is it? My Life In and Out of the Rough. Is that right?
Yeah.
I read your book years ago. It was great, and to talk about being authentic and being honest. I mean, obviously you're very, very honest. You didn't need to sit there and tell me that you've had a few drinks. That no one else would probably do that. In your situation. So I commend you for that, and I hope you have a way to. You figure that out. It seems like you got a decent hand on it now. But that book, did you have any weird or anxiety putting that out? Just the information, you could tell you're literally an open book, and you didn't care. This is my life. Boom, here it is. Did you ever before that went out? Were you I don't know. Should I write this? Should I not write this? What do I do?
No, it was actually therapeutic for me to get all that off my chest. To be honest with you, and the biggest reason I did the book was to let the world know that this is my life. This is what I've been through in my life. And to really see how many fans would actually buy my book was a big reason to see, I wanted to see the fan base a little bit more. And, and being that book, My Life in and Out of the Rough, was on the bestseller list for 13 weeks.
Jeez.
Sold over 400,000 copies the first month and a half it was out. So that was it made me feel so good that book really did that well, and it made me realize how many fans I really have. It was awesome.
Are you thinking of writing a sequel someday?
I think so. I'd like to have a really good ending on this next one if I do it, or I hope one day there's a movie about me, because I think a lot of people can learn from my mistakes, and they can hopefully dream of the things that I've done. It's just been I have lived one hell of a life. There's no doubt about it.
You're still young too. You're only 48. Yeah,
48. You betcha.
Yeah, that's what people all. I've talked to different guys, comedians. A lot of times, they always say don't hide anything. Don't if you make it something a big deal if you don't address it or you don't put it out there for people. And I think you're the king of that. You're the type of guy that you should be the PR guy for some people, and let them know that, hey, just get out in front of this. If you did something wrong, admit it. And I know they always came to you when Tiger was going through his whole situation with all whatever, when his marriage kind of crumbled and all. I don't know who knows all the details, but they always came to you, and you were a huge supporter of his. And do you think, is that something that you just naturally came for you to support a guy that seems like people are beating him up from the outside?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to get to him before. I just want him to be honest. And AJ, I've got to get my phone on a charger, buddy.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can wrap this up, man.
No, no, I'm going to go down to the club and charge
Oh,
it, and we'll talk some more. I'll just sit in the clubhouse.
oh, okay, great. You want me to call you right back?
Yeah, give me about 4 or 5 minutes. And
Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you very much. I'll
you
call you.
got it.
See ya.
See you in a second.
All right, we're back after John has made a location change into the clubhouse of the Lions Den to get his phone on a charger. So this, I'm not sure exactly where we were when I left off, but I think we were talking about kind of sympathizing with guys that are going through some, maybe some personal issues and the media ganging up on them and jumping on them, and you kind of being the mouthpiece for some of those guys. And I was thinking if that's something that you enjoy, defending friends, or just trying to let people know to just admit stuff and be honest, and people will forgive you.
I think that's what you have to do in life. I think people respect somebody that might do something wrong, but they forgive them for telling the truth. And I remember tweeting out the Brewers baseball player.
Braun.
And I thought, Braun, who I was so happy because I thought he'd actually tweeted that. He said, yes, I thought he admitted the truth. And so I tweeted out, like, it's cool that he admitted the truth, what happened. And then I just got annihilated on Twitter because they said he lied about it. But, I made a mistake. I thought he came out and said he did do steroids or whatever. But it's an honest mistake. But that's the thing. I mean, I respect people even more when they know they did something wrong, but yet they tell the people, they tell the world, they tell their agents, they tell their family, hey, I screwed up. I messed up. And then they can say whatever they want to say about it, but nobody can really keep saying about it and keep talking about it, because if you tell the truth, it's a dead-end issue.
Yeah, the longer I think you go without addressing it or without making a comment, you're right. People can just speculate, and the story will grow and grow. And I think that's something that with Tiger's whole situation, I mean, it seems like that was 100 years ago now, but he went
Yeah.
he went a while before he addressed it, and then when he did address it, he just kind of had his written speech he did, and he didn't take any questions.
Yeah.
And it was it almost like it didn't. I'm like, well, you left. Now we actually have more questions for you. It seemed like.
I tried to get to him. I tried to reach out to him, but, I think the agents protected him pretty good on that. And, my agent tried to get a hold of his agent, just let me talk to him, and before it got out of hand. And, when you let something linger on that long, rumors are going to fly left and right, and it just makes things worse.
For sure, and that's I've said it before, how people regardless, you're 48 years old, and what was your last win? 2004 on PGA Tour.
Yeah.
But still, if you go to a tournament, you're one of the biggest draws there, and if Tiger's not in the tournament, you might be the biggest draw. And if you're playing well, trust me, CBS, whoever's carrying that tournament is going to be juiced, because John Daly's playing well down the stretch on a Sunday. Can you imagine the ratings on a Sunday on the back nine of you in a tournament? And it'd be like it'd be the biggest. You can't call it a come from behind, but the biggest like redemption type thing ever. So that's what I envision for you. So I think you're how you say you're talking too. If you can get healthy and put 4 days together, you can alter the course of your whole career, your legacy even.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll happen at the PGA or the British Open this year.
But the thing is, though, when people, regardless, I don't know what people have said or written about you. I don't pay attention to that, but you've won 2 majors, and there's guys that are considered absolute studs on tour and have never won a major or won one major.
Yeah, it's something that, and to win at St. Andrews, especially the home of golf. I mean, Jack Nicklaus said it, your career's complete if you win at St. Andrews, in a kind of ironic way. I mean, because that is the ultimate place to win a golf tournament. But a lot of guys differ. They think the Masters might be the one to win. But if you look at history, the hardest 2 golf tournaments to win on the planet is our Players Championship. It's the strongest field, and the British Open. Because it's also the strongest field. The Masters is very limited. It's only like 86 guys that get to play in it. The U.S. Open has a lot of amateurs that qualify to play in it, which is great. That's why it's a USAM, the U.S. Open, and a lot of amateurs playing it. And then the PGA is a great one to win, but they have 25, no disrespect to club pros whatsoever, but they don't get to do it every day for a living and go out and play their tour like we do. So your fields, by far, are stronger than the British Open and the Players' Championship.
It's got to be. And I never thought about it that way, which I'm sure no one does that watches on TV like me, but it would be something special. And there's no reason you can't. That's the great thing about golf, I think, is you can go out there at 48, 50 years old, and you can win a major. Like, it's happened. People do it. And that's why I think golf is such a special sport for guys like you. Like, I know as a football player, I'm 30 now. I'm lucky to still be playing at 30. Like, it's hard to make it even that long. So the cool thing I've thought about, like, golf, you can play until you're 70. Like, look at Jack and Arnie. They're still starting the Masters every year. They don't play, but they're still swinging and putting one in the fairway. So that's got to be at least reassuring you, knowing that you can make money playing golf for pretty much as long as you live.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about it. There's really not a retirement in the game, unless your body just won't allow you to swing anymore. But I got to say, the greatest tournament I ever saw on TV was 1986 when Nicklaus won the Masters. He was 46. I think it was in 86 he did it. But I know he was 46 years old, and that was just, wow. That was just awesome to watch that. And with Vijay Singh winning a lot of golf tournaments in his 40s, and you're seeing a couple other, Boo Weekley he's really turned his career around. And, guys winning in the 40s gives me hope that, hey, I can still win. Just got to get healthy and got to get competitive and get the desire to practice when I do get healthy. The desire's gone because it's just very hard to practice when you can barely walk and your arms are hurting and you got tendon, like we said earlier. It's hard to get confidence, and that's all I'm lacking. My ball striking ability is still just as good as anybody else's. Just got to get the confidence.
And you can still bomb the ball, too, which is what normally goes with when guys get old. They can't hit the ball as far to compete on these big old courses now. Isn't that right?
Right, no doubt. I've still got the length. I can still hit it with the flat bellies.
That's the thing. So you're 48, you can get on the Champions Tour in 2 years. I've seen it happen. Didn't Rocco win his first Champions Tour event?
He did, and a guy like Bruce Fleischer, who won one event on the PGA Tour, went on a 5-year stretch that just won everything. And you look at a guy like Hale Irwin, which Hale was a hell of a player on the tour. He's won a few majors, but he's just killed the senior tour. I mean, absolutely. I don't know how many millions he's won on it, but he's won like 50, 60 tournaments on the senior tour, I think.
Man, it is a cool thing that you guys have waiting for you, regardless of what caliber player they were when they were on the PGA Tour. I think that's there. And it's cool too when you could think about those first 5 years and you're sitting there bombing 350-yard drives past those guys, hitting some of them hitting at 260. That's going to be fun to watch. I think the Champions Tour they're more excited for you to get there than you are to get there, probably.
Well, a lot of it's going to be some of my buddies are out there like Fuzzy and Craig Stadler, Ben Crenshaw. Those guys were so great to me. Tom Watson, just to see him play with those guys again. I mean, I idolized those guys all my life, and say that they're my friends is probably more important than me just playing golf with them. They're such great guys, and they always took me under their wing when I first came out here, and I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Now, yeah, you came out and you won your first major at 1991. How were the guys, especially the older? I mean, that was a great time for golf. There's a lot of legends playing at the time. I feel like, how were those older kind of vested guys to you from the beginning? Because you came in and bam, you just jumped on the scene, and you, one way or the other, you took a ton of attention away from them, not on purpose, but just because of how you played. Were they accepting from the jump, or were a lot of guys kind of standoffish and jealous?
A lot of them were awesome. And those names I mentioned, that's why they took me under the wing. There was a couple guys that weren't. And Curtis Strange, I'll say it, he hated me for some reason. He never liked me. And to this day, I don't know why. I never will know why. But I had nothing but respect for Curtis because I idolized him when, he's not as much as the other ones because Curtis won late, the 2 U.S. Opens that he won late in his career. But I idolize guys that are like that. He just didn't like me. I don't know why.
Have you guys worked it out since then?
Huh?
Have you guys talked since then?
No, we haven't. We haven't really talked at all, and it's just part. Hey, you can't please everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there on tour. You're right. Everyone's not going to get along great. But was Faraday playing at the time, or was he already commentating?
Yeah, Faraday was playing when I was playing. Actually, in '91, when I won the PGA Championship, David Faraday finished 7th.
He did. He talked about that in your episode. I remember.
Yeah, we changed my whole wall. The beautiful painting that the Golf Channel came and did. They wanted to put David Faraday's name. He wanted his name up there because he finished 7th.
was he? Now he's a whole nother character. Was he a guy that you were naturally kind of drawn to right off the bat when you got on tour? Because he is very public with his battles and all kind of. He talks about mental illness, pills, drinking, everything. Were you guys kind of like kindred spirits when you came on and saw him?
Oh hell yeah, we hit it off like drinking buddies. And the guy caddying for me now, Peter Vondery, he's my caddy now. He was probably the first person that I became really good friends with. We were playing the South African tour, and as David Faraday as well. As soon as we got done, we went straight to the bar, got drunk, and just did it again the next day. And those were fun times. We had a blast. And you kind of get condemned if you have fun now. It's really weird. It's like we're not allowed to have fun on the tour for some reason now.
Do guys not hang out like that, like they did back when, like you said, like in the early '90s, after a round?
It's not that they don't want to; it's just that they can't. Especially the guys that are in the top 50 in the world. Their time's limited. I mean, they don't have any time to have fun until they go home. Vacation for me was coming home, and those guys, the money's so big on the tour now that they're always, if they're not playing in a week, if they're not playing a week, they're doing corporate outings, they're doing corporate days, and I still do 20 or 30 a year, so they just don't have time to really let it all out.
It's a shame, and I think it's gone that way with different. I've talked to some baseball players that played back in the day, and one of my good buddies pitched for 17, 18 years in the majors, and he would talk about his last couple years. He's like, after the game, I'd sit around the clubhouse and we'd drink beer and talk and hang out and he's like, I'd stay at the clubhouse until 2 a.m. sometimes before I go home.
I did that with Pedro Ferreira.
Really?
He used to smoke in the locker room and drink beer in their locker room, and now they took it all away. It's all gone.
They did, and that was one of the things he said. As he's like, I knew I was coming to the end. He said after the game, he looked around like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Where are you going?" And he's looking around for everybody to hang out. He's like, I thought we were going to play cards. What are we doing?" And he's like, "These guys got their swing coach, their massage guy, their chiropractor." He's like, they're walking out with a crew of like 7 people and then leaving as soon as the game gets over. He said it's like players don't even know each other anymore like they did back in the day. And it seems like, at least from the outside, is that kind of how golf has gone?
Oh yeah, no doubt. They've got their psychologist, their swing coach, their nutritionalist. It's used to, you'd go out and play a practice round. Before of us, we used to have money games and have a good time, and now you'll see it once and with more people in the fairway playing.
What do you mean?
Well, it used to be me and 3 other pros at practice rounds and our 4 caddies, 8 people. Now you see one player with 10 people around him.
Oh, okay. You got to walk with their swing coach and
psychologists, swing coaches. Nutrition. I mean, it's crazy.
Gosh, it does. I mean, people are so specialized now. I feel like a lot of them. I'm sure it happens in every sport. I think to be an athlete, or the definition of an athlete, is someone that can play every sport, can be pretty good at any kind of sport they pick up. And I think now with golf being such a specialized deal, kids are starting out at 2 years old and they're playing golf, and they got their parents or these swing coaches that get a hold of them, and they don't let them play any other sports. And I think it's creating people like that. I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is, but I just have a hard time for those. I think it'd be really easy for those guys to get burnt out at some point.
But yeah, especially the way the Asians, the Asians are really making a move in the women's tour and on the men's tour, and it's all they do. It's all they think, which is great. It's great, but there's just no way I could think golf all the time. Like I said, I played a lot of other sports. I played football, I played baseball, and and now I've got 3 kids. I just got custody of my son, so I'm homeschooling him, taking care of him. I don't have time to hit balls for 8 hours a day. And these kids coming out, they do it, and then they go work out after they do it. There ain't no way I could do that. No way.
Do you think that is there anything with guys being like that? Do you think there's something when you're seeing people get hurt at a young age, and I know like Dustin Johnson's had some back issues. Different guys are getting hurt. Do you think it has something to do with the fact that they have been hitting thousands of balls a day since they were 7?
Well, I don't think hitting a lot of golf balls really can hurt us because we're so used to doing it. I think the guys who are working out a lot need to be careful because I think that's where a lot of them are getting hurt. Lifting weights, and I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying maybe change your routine a little bit. There's been a lot of guys that got hurt in the weight room.
Or be careful. Do you? I know you get asked about Tiger all the time, so you're sick of it. But they always talk about his swing is going. Can his body hold on to his swing, and he keeps changing his swing to stay healthy? Does his swing have anything to do with his knee, Achilles, back, whatever issues he has?
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, his swing is absolutely perfect, but Tiger's probably he's hit a lot of golf balls, and he started when he was 1 or 2 years old, so his body, got used to doing it. But I don't know. I think Tiger might have worked out too hard. That guy's a workout buff, and I know numerous times he said, "Dang, I wish I would have done that in the weight room." You pull muscles when you work out. You put so much strain on your body lifting maybe too much weights. Golf is cardiovascular. I mean, the way I look at it, I walk 6-7 miles a day. What the hell do I need to work out for? That is a work.
Hey, I think you're. Hey, that's the good thing. You're on to something. Whatever works for you. And working out's fine if people are thinking just are smart. But I think I see it in football too. There's these so-called gurus that want to take guys and work them out, and they have all these weird things they do with them, and then boom, that's when you get hurt when you're trying to do this crazy stuff that guys think they're special.
Yeah, and some guys think the way to have success they have to do it. And that's what works for them. God bless them. If I look like you trying to hit a golf ball,
you'd be shooting 140 out there like me. That's what you'd be doing, man.
I don't know. I may be shooting like 62 every round.
You'd be exhausted. I'm not in good enough shape to play golf. I can't walk 18 holes. I play in Lake Tahoe every year. We walk 3 rounds in a row, and I tell you what, man, that kills me. I'm like, and I work out in the morning before. Maybe that's my problem. I work out before my round. But
yeah, could be. But I mean, that's what's different about sports. I mean, I've heard of so many football players and baseball players. There's no way I could play golf for a living. There's no way I could do it. And then again, there's no way I could do what you do. And that's what makes our gifts so special. And we're very fortunate to have them.
Who's your favorite player on tour, on the PGA Tour right now, not the Champions?
I don't know if I really have a favorite.
Maybe just favorite guy to watch, I would say.
Well, I like watching, I getting a little older, I like watching the Champions Tour. I like to see Freddie play. I like to see Fuzzy. I like to see watching all them. And I don't really watch golf that much. It really honestly puts me to sleep.
Yeah. It
really does. I mean, if I want to take a nap, I'll watch golf. And it's no disrespect, but I'd rather watch the European Tour on TV because they actually show golf. Our TV shows one shot and then they cut to a commercial break for 5 minutes. So you're not really seeing a lot of golf, and plus they don't show a lot of players on our tour on TV. They're showing the guys who are in the last 2 groups a lot, and unless it's a major, the majors do a wonderful job of showing a lot of people play, but I'm just not one of those guys that really watches golf that much.
You mentioned taking a nap. That's kind of every middle-aged guy's Sunday afternoon dream is just lay on the couch, put golf on, and doze in and out of consciousness the whole time. Maybe wake up to watch the guy winning a playoff or something.
Yeah,
it happens all over America. I think every Sunday there's a decent tournament on. All right? So what? let's start to wrap it up here and let you go, man. You've been awesome and given me a lot of time. I know this is longer than you would have you had planned on, but
that's fine.
What do you think? What are your plans? I would say, other than the Champions Tour, like you said, you're homeschooling your son, which is just awesome. I think that's a whole other side that people obviously don't really know a whole lot about. But what are your plans going forward? Because it's true, you're 48 years old and you've lived an awesome life. And where are you going to go from here, you think?
I just live life, I'm trying to get through these next 2 years the best way I can and get healthy and basically plan for a new future on the Champions Tour and play that. I got a lot of business ventures in my drink. Our new company called Blue Collar Golf, which is a shirt company. Loudmouth, I'm part owner of that. We're having a great time with that, and it's doing really, really well. So the business side of things are good. I just wish I could get my golf course to get some people out here, but it's a small town, and it's tough. Golf business is tough right now, but just keep living life and secure my kids' futures.
That's great to hear. And so you said you hope that they make a movie about you, or you think they could. Believe me, I think that should be in the works right now. Who you think's going to play John Daly?
I don't know. In the sex scenes, I want to be me.
They could probably do that. It's like when they bring a body double in. Yeah, I think you could work that in because you're going to have to okay the script.
I don't know. I honestly don't know who would play me in a movie.
I mean, that's the great thing about you. You're that unique of a character and of a guy that you can't really peg anybody to you. That's the thing. If you think about it, like who would?
The way movies are, though, they can make people look just like people. It's amazing how they do it. And I don't know if there's an actor that could actually take the club back as far as I do.
No chance. Oh no, they're going to need body doubles for that, the sex scenes, and for the golf swings. They're going to have to film it from behind for all the golf. There's no way they're going to do face. No one can swing like you. You know who came to mind? God rest his soul, Philip Seymour Hoffman. You remember him? He died.
Yeah.
But man, that guy was what an actor.
A guy like Matt Damon would be good, because he did the Bagger Vance movie with Will Smith. I think that was Matt Damon. Because he plays golf, and if we can get him to take it back about 2 more feet on his backswing, he'd be perfect for it in my younger days when I was skinny.
Matt Damon would. I bet he would be honored to do it. I think it's going to happen. I think that hopefully this puts it in motion. The good thing is you're going to get some big cash for that too, because everyone's going out to see it. You show up, especially if you show up like at the premiere out there in L.A. wherever. You have the premiere out down there in Dardanelle at the Lions Den. Bring some more business in there too.
That's right,
man. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to following your career and your game, everything from here on out. But this was a very. The great thing is, like I said, the first person to come on here on location from the third tee box in the Lions Den now into the clubhouse. So this is a very an interesting and very unique situation. I wouldn't have asked for anything different from the man John Legend. John Legend. I meant the legend John Daly. My bad. John Legend has some great music though, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, the legend John Daly. We could edit that out, but we won't because I don't care. Thanks again, man. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we're gonna follow you. You want to give your Twitter name or something to get people out there if they want it?
Yeah, it's I just went blank. At PGA _ John Daly.
All right, yeah, we'll put it at the bottom of the screen too for you. But John, thank you again. Really appreciate it. You're the best, man. Everyone loves watching. We're all rooting for you. So we will talk again soon.
You got it. Best of luck, AJ. You and the Packers. I'll root for you guys wholeheartedly, except when you play my Cowboys, babe. I love you.
I understand completely, man. I really do. I'm with you. All right, thanks.
And thank you and Aaron for the jerseys. Appreciate it.
No, least we could do for sure. Thanks a lot.